Hey guys, welcome back. This is Daniel answering a question on my YouTube channel about time management and getting things done from a video that this gentleman has seen. Fresh Breeze is his name. Watching my video, keeping a journal will change your life. So this is his comment. I'm just going to respond back with my answers to him. So he says, I was asking myself whether you could have some advice on time management and getting things done. I love to put on paper what is needed to be done, and I usually write every strict deadlines for the things that I have to do. But of course, it takes a lot more time to do them, and many times I do them because I have no choice. In the very last moment, I absolutely hate my capability to organize my actions because if I would do more things, my life would have been much better, right? Amen to that. If I make a to-do list and put the time at which to go do that, if I think he says if frequently ends up doing at any time I feel energy to do that, totally improve. So he's pretty much saying that he's always having to resort to improvising his activities instead of sticking to a plan. How do you plan your actions? I literally do a to-do list for next day, and I start and as I start a to-do list, the circumstances change, and it changes my plans for the next days. I should redo my agenda every day then, right? Then I probably need to get a clean version of the agenda and work. So summarizing, making a to-do agenda with concrete deadlines take a lot of energy for me because I am capable to do things. So here's the thing. I'm going to stop right there. I'm just rambling on with his comment, but really good question, Mr. Breeze. But I want to just kind of mention to a lot of people out there, you don't not only struggle with this, I do. That's why I'm so keen on it. Organizing and bringing things into fruition constantly and effectively isn't my forte. I'm not a force-driven personality temperament. It takes a lot for me to do to get my body in motion, to get those wheels turning every day. So I've written a lot of really good points for you, and these are really going to help out everybody else out there who understands that I'm not the best with getting things done, but I need to get things done, and there's a really big disparity between what I want to happen and what I want to do daily versus what actually happens. Right? Is we wake up creating this huge list of things that we want to get done, but none of them really get done, and maybe one or two things get done, or we get sidetracked because you could just be that kind of person where oh wow, look, a squirrel, and then it's 10 o'clock at night and you're like, wait, how did that squirrel last 10 hours, right? And that squirrel could be representative of TV shows, it could be friends, it could be parties, it could be anything. I'm going to explain to you in this video my short walkthrough with some of the answers that I wanted to rebuttal with this answer. So the first thing I want to talk about is understanding time needed to do tasks, right? So with our dude here, Mr. Fresh Breeze, he talks a lot about not being able to get things done, especially with time restraints, right? You really have to identify with the things that you need to accomplish, how much time you have to, before you even set your organizer for things to get done. You need to understand how long it's going to take to get these things done, and what order of operations do I need to get these things in order for me to complete them in the time frame that I need. Because you have to remember, you're not only fighting to get certain things done throughout the day, but you also have you need the mental space and the mental and physical energy to do all these things. And so what I would say to everybody out there is, if you're trying to get a lot of things done, you really need to evaluate every little thing that you're doing and break down the thing into categories of how much time is needed, how much energy is needed, what kind of energy is needed. Will I need support on this thing if needed to get it done, right? Because there's just going to be certain tasks throughout your day that you're not really keen on doing or remembering, right? Everybody's got some part of their schedule that they have to really focus more on because they're not the best at, right? So just keep that in mind. Another thing I have here, starting off with getting body in motion, right? So if you're somebody who is hard setting to get in motion, right, to get things done, there are two things that I recommend you do. if your current job or day-to-day work life doesn't encourage this, I would start every morning super early, super uncomfortable, wake your body up with like working out or something that will just shock your body, right? So for me, I have on and off days where I run 2 miles or I work out for an hour every morning. I try to wake up at 5:30, 6 if it's a sucky day. And so, but I got all those things done. So I got like my morning stuff done, for example. But so why this is so important though, is when you shock your body to wake up, it gets you out of that groggy state. Even if you're still in a groggy state, you're getting your body moving. You're getting your body to remember that if you wake up at a certain time, on certain days, doing certain things, your body is going to be more alert when you start to wake up at those times. So now, believe it or not, within 30 days of starting my own routine, I'm already, of trying to wake up even earlier, my body already knows, okay, it's 5:30, we're about to get ready for a 2-mile run or a workout, and then do all these things, right? So it's about, getting your body shocked and awake and alert. But then another thing too, if you have the time to do it, if you're young enough and you're eager enough to really set, your behavior for success, I would take on a job like a server at a restaurant or a high-paced, high organizational position where you have no choice but to organize your time and have time management. And so when I used to be a server, right, it really, I loved being a server because I loved the fact that I was able to, break down 50 different things I needed to do in my head. For tables, for the kitchen, to bring food out, remember time frames for food and different, courses for different tables. And, being a server shows you how to do a lot of different things at once that all has to happen continuously. There needs to be a flow, right? And at my last sales job, I was in the service aspect of the dealership where I worked at in sales. And it taught me time management because there are certain things throughout the day that were only within a certain time period. So I'll give you an example. When I went to work in the morning, 8:30 was walking around to see what cars have come into inventory that were new to sell. In service, there's already people there at 8 o'clock. I'm taking these service sheets and finding people to sell cars to. And I have to remember every morning that, for example, there's the window of the bulk of the customers that are there to sell to are between 8 and 1 or 8 and 2. And within that time, my time is just for the customers there. And then after that, I still have follow-up, still have to find deals, still have to call people, still have day-to-day workflow, performance-related things. Gotta make a certain amount of phone calls, certain amount of emails, right? So there's a lot of things just to keep tabs on and make sure that you're moving forward in the right direction to do that. So I totally encourage people to take more action when you wake up. Shock your body doing something that you like to do. For me, I like to work out because it gets my body moving to doing other things. But then also make sure that you have work experience where it's either high pressure or a very organizational, very fast-paced environment. You need fast-paced to teach yourself, what it's like right. So here's the thing: you'll never be able to really organize or get a lot of things done when you haven't been trained or had experience in an environment where you need to get a lot of things done and time restraints, right? And you think about it, right? And I think about this all the time. Like, if I can get all these things done at work, why can't I just do this for like my own business, for example, or for my own freelancing, or for my YouTube, right? It takes a lot more work. There's no pressure because you have to put that pressure on yourself. So there's a lot more accountability in play than working for an employer, right? So those two things I just wanted to point out are really important. Don't focus on organizing actions. Focus on time restraints first, right? So that's what I just said. So if you have time restraints, who gives a shit about organizing? Make sure that you get the organizing out of the way if need be to get these things done, right? It's not that you're incapable to organize. You have to figure out the way your mind lets you do that, right? So here's another plot twist, right? It's not that you're bad at organizing. You just need to figure out the way that works best for you, and in the way that you are most proficient at organizing, right? I suck at organizing, but I've found out a way that works best for me. Like in the moment, like I wanted to make this video. It's I knew I was gonna make a video this morning. I figured out which video to make. I wrote down the things that make sense to me, and I just did it, right? Because now it's kind of like in my flow now. And so what I would say is, how you can figure out how to better organize yourself is understand how you value the different things that you need to get done, right? Understand the different kind of things that need to get done day to day. Understand the things that you like to do, the things that you don't like to do very well. Understand how your mind works. Understand that your mind is going to be resistant towards some things over others, and your mind naturally likes to go to a certain state or a certain way of thinking, right? My mind typically likes to just gravitate towards just thinking about the future, and thinking about better ways to do things, and thinking and philosophizing and whatever. So I know that I can catch myself out of that thinking. I know how to pull myself out of that into getting things actually done. And it's funny because sometimes when you turn off your mind, you're actually able to get more done. Go figure. You see all these people that get things done, but when you understand the kind of people that they are, like my friend Damon, for example, he's all about like wanting to take action, and so is a couple of other of my friends. When you get to act, so this is what I would do: ask people that that are very, not just like very proficient in organizing. Like go up to people that are just like they just get things done, like the action oriented people, like they have no problem doing things, and ask them like what do you think throughout your day, or like how do you just get things done? Literally listen to what they're saying in the psychology that they would apply it in, right? Like when I ask my friends that are very high action driven, like what they think about, they go, I just do it, right? There's no necessarily they're not thinking about it per se, but I feel like for all the thinkers out there, for all the feelers out there, there's a lot of people that will get caught up in their head, and they'll just think that they'll just get caught up writing things down, making lists, and they're not really creating actions. They're just setting it up for that. And they probably, for me, if it were up to me, I'd rather pay somebody to do all the things that I need to do in a day. But you're you, so you need to get them done, right? So go on to the next thing. It's not that you're incapable. Okay, so we finished that. Improvise all the time, but with absolutes, right? So here's another concept, right? You only have so much time in a day, right? You really should be breaking it down as close as you can, minute to minute. But what I meant by improvise all the time, but with absolutes is right. Think about all the things that you need to get done throughout the day, but remember that there should be certain constraints and guidelines and absolutes or laws that you should follow throughout your day to make sure that you stay compliant with what you need to get done, right? So in my day to day, I understand that I cannot go to bed, I cannot go past a certain time without doing X, Y, Z. So there's a certain level of percentage that needs to get done a day, or I don't go to sleep, right? And everybody's absolutes are going to look different, right? Some people are going to say, I need to get at least this thing done or that thing done a day. I just need to do this or do that a day, right? So it's about what's applicable to you. It's about what's important, and those absolutes are really important. So it's less about the time. It's less about the time, right? You can improvise the time, do things throughout the day. Maybe you do something in the afternoon that you should have done in the morning, right? Like you have the window, you have the whole window to work within, but you need to create the fence so you don't leave astray the area that you should be doing your work, right? Like I'll give you an example. Let's just say your life day to day is sitting at your desk at a computer, getting things done. If you don't set a fence around your desk called your day to day, called getting things done, then you could potentially walk away from your desk thinking that you're working, And then because you have no boundaries to bring yourself back into your day-to-day, you're just going to get lost within the day, right? So you have to remember to set up particular boundaries for yourself so that you remember in terms of absolutes, right? Remember that there are things to get done. Remember that you can't deviate if that's what your goal is. So, and also he asked me, how do I plan my actions? I start with high action motivation, like I've mentioned. You know, I'll listen to a lot of podcasts. I'll work out. I'll run in the morning. I get shocked, get my body going. Plan before that day, which is also really important. I always, before I go to bed, think about what I have to do the next morning or the next day. I write down in my journal that just the more important things I need to get done. And then the next day when I wake up, I write down the things that I want to get to, right? So important and not important. And then get the support from others depending, right? So there's, like, I'll give you an example. Sometimes it's hard for me to get motivated to work out. I have a friend for that. Sometimes it's hard for me to make a video. I have somebody who understands what it's like with that stress, to keep making videos. So you need to find your support system. If you find it a hard time to do things, you need to find the support that you can relate to, or the people can relate to you about what you're trying to get done, and then get that support, right? Like my girlfriend reminds me to take care of myself all the time, and now I'm getting better and better at, you know, taking care of like my personal maintenance, right? So that's just some things that are food for thought. I know this is kind of running a little, you know, more than usual, but I really wanted to get to all these things. So then I have some side ideas. Breaking actions into how much time is needed, right? I kind of mentioned that. Be realistic with what can be accomplished, right? Don't write a list of 50 things thinking you're going to get it done throughout the whole day, right? What I like to do is, if I have a huge freaking list of things that need to get done, I call those 2-day lists or 3-day lists, and then I just revisit those lists. If there's so many things that need to get done, you keep those lists around and whatever, but you focus on, like, if you have a list that ends up being a lot, you know, I believe in like the 33% rule, where you try to get 33% of it done today, and then if you can, more of it, and then, you know, you break the 33 into 3 days, and then you're at 100%, right? There's a lot of different ways to do that, but I just think it's funny. People just write these huge lists of things to get done, and then they can't do it. And then my last thing here is get addicted to a process that works, right? Your process is going to look different from everybody else's. And so what I would say is, I've become slowly addicted to how I do things and get things done because it makes it fun. I would just encourage the same. Find a process and rituals that you love to do and to get done, and just get addicted to the things that you like to do, the things that help you get out of bed every day, or the support maybe, or particular things that you like to do, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But get addicted to your process to getting things done, and you'll just get, and it will move along a lot more smoother. So I hope this was a comprehensive video to you guys. There's a lot of good stuff in here. If you have any other questions about this, just give me shoot me a message, and I'll definitely respond. Subscribe and like if you can too. Trying to bring my channel into a better direction, and trying to stay more consistent. So if you want me to make a video about something, just shoot me a comment, and I'll think about it, and maybe I'll make it. Talk to you guys soon.